Who doesn't like the idea of driving an aggressive sports performance type of car, right? Especially when they are in a hot hatch form. Now, when we think of cars like this, we think of cars like the Golf R version, the Renault Megane RS, and also the Mercedes-Benz A-Class AMG. But one of the hottest one that we have in mind and the most talked about would be something like this, the Civic Type R. And today, we're going to review this. This is not your everyday Civic Type R. Rather, this is a little bit special because it was the very unit that was actually showcased to the entire world during its global debut back in 2017, even coming with a special chassis number 0002, meaning it was the second Civic Type R to ever leave the Honda factory. Let's dive right in, guys. Today's reviewed car is graciously provided by NS Cars KL, which specializes in rare import models such as this, the Corolla Sport, and also the Toyota Tank. And these are cars that you typically would not find in your local showrooms. Just so you know, this particular unit is currently up for sale up till March 2023, failing which it will get shipped out to the UK. If you're interested to find out more about this car, please feel free to reach out to the person in charge for this, and his details are down in the link below. Also, stay tuned for the end of the video to find out just how much this baby will cost you. As with any of my previous reviews, we're going to start as always with the front of the car. First impression, we're going to see it's a very low slung car to give it that sporty effect, and to further enhance its performance status, a hood scoop has also been added on the hood. And these, ladies and gentlemen, they're as real as they can be. Don't expect any tape-on fall scoops on this car. As we move our attention towards the lights, we're going to see they are full projector LED headlamps, and they come with integrated LEDs. Fog lamps also come as standard. But let's actually move our attention to the grille. You notice this being a Civic Type R, Honda wants people to know that you're driving a Type R, not just any Civic. So we've got that bright red Honda logo in the middle. It's huge. You got to see this logo. It comes with a Type R emblem to indicate just what kind of model we are talking about. And the grille itself is a honeycomb mesh wire inspired grille that extends all the way to the bottom of the bumper. And don't expect any chromes in here, guys. This is pure black paint to cover it. And the bumpers themselves, while we're talking about it, is also given that sporty design and complete with a red essence strip to line up its borders. An aggressive car demands an equally aggressive set of rims. This Civic Type R is no different. It's running on 20 inches of Berliner alloy. It is a 5-spoke rim, and as you can see, black tone with a red border around it. The tires themselves are premium tires. They come factory fitted with Continental Contact Sport 6, the dimensions being 245/30 R20. Folks, the brakes on this car, they are colossal, like colossal. You want to know how big? These are running on all-rounded disc. The fronts are ventilated disc at 350 millimeters in diameter. The rear is at 305 millimeters in diameter. The brakes themselves are 4-pod Brembos. So they have way more braking power than you need, but it is much more needed in a vehicle like this. Moving over to the side profile of the car, we're going to notice that the low-slung appearance from the front also carries over here. Aside from that, there's also those side slats, and these are functional ones meant to boost its aggressive looks as well as its aerodynamics. And moving up a little bit further here, we notice there is not an inch of chrome. That's because with a performance car, it goes with a black and white contrast. And as we look towards the side view mirror, it appears to look like a conventional one. It's got its usual LED integrated turn signals in here. But if you shift your attention towards the left mirror, you're going to notice that this one has a little camera in there. That's actually a lane watch assist system, and it's only exclusive to the Australian specification Civic Type R, which is what this is. As we move up to the back of the car, the first thing that strikes to mind is this huge aerodynamic inspired spoilers. It's big, it's black, it's functional. And just below this is yet another little spoiler, a baby version. This one comes integrated with an LED third brake lamp. If you look a little bit above it, you're going to see that the roof that comes towards the back of the car, it has this aerodynamic windbreaker inspired things. You've got 4 little slats in the middle and you've got 2 on each side. This helps to break the wind and assist with more aerodynamics. The Civic Type R also comes with a rear wiper. This is probably for the driver to actually clean their windshield to see just how much dust they've made their competitors eat. The rear lights that are presented with this car is actually not pure LED. It's actually a combination of LED and bulbs for the brakes and the turn signals. And because this is a Type R we are dealing with, we need to know that you're driving a Type R. So Honda says, here you go with a big bad red badge and a big bad Type R symbol on the side. The rest of the car, the bumper looks pretty much standard, except when you go downwards, then you're going to notice these big black diffusers. You've got parking sensors attached to those diffusers, and the aerodynamics goes all the way down to the bottom of the bumper, where you can see it is very aggressively designed, and all the body kits that are attached with this car are pure carbon fiber. When you think of a performance car, you would like to think that they have double exhaust holes or quad exhaust holes. But what about this car? Why does it only have 3 exhaust holes? And you notice that it's not even symmetrical. The 2 on either sides are equally sized. The one in the middle suddenly appears smaller. There's actually a good reason for that, folks. Now, the 2 main exhaust pipes, they are the main functional ones. So when you drive on a cruise mode, those are the 2 pipes that runs. The one in the middle basically acts like a muffler, a silencer. It's to boost a more quieter, comfortable ride as you go. But take it the other way around. Push it to the limit and start going on a performance run. The 3rd pipe also gets activated to equally perform with the other 2. At that point, you will have all 3 pipes running together. Finally, for the rear side, we're going to look at one very important and interesting fact, which is going to be the boot of the car. Now, you would assume that with a performance car like this, space in the rear would be compromised. Well, I'm happy to say that is not the case. As you can see, there are a good 414 liters worth of space. Hell, even I think I can go in there, but given the type of car we're dealing with, I think I will refrain from doing so. But there's one thing that I really am a little bit not happy, I'm a little bit conflicted on this, is that the absence of a spare tire. You see, what is supposed to house a spare tire actually houses, well, thin air. Quite nothing, actually. Now, of course, understandably, this would be good for weight reduction, but with a car like this, without a spare tire, you better keep your fingers crossed that you do not run into a flat in the middle of nowhere. Now, here comes the fun part, people. How much power does the Civic Type R actually have? Quite a bit, gladly. How does 306 horsepower and 400 Newton meters of torque sound to you? And on top of this, the 0 to 100 sprint only takes 5.7 seconds. Faster than what I've just explained about the top speed and the power of the car. And in terms of top speed, speaking of which, that tops out at 272 kilometers per hour, guys. That's a whole lot faster than any one of us will even drive on the highways these days. This Civic Type R currently runs on a 2.0 liter 4-cylinder Honda VTEC turbo engine. So this whole VTEC kicked in yo bit is not going to apply on this, because the only thing this engine does is control the turbo lag via the rear exhaust. And speaking of the engine itself, there's one thing I like about the cover. Now, I'm not really a fan of engine covers. They're plastic crap. But that's not the same with this. This is adorned with high-grade plastic and authentic carbon fiber, guys. This Civic Type R comes exclusively with a 6-speed manual with a helical limited slip differential for better cornering traction. It also comes equipped with an auto ref functions that cuts off the throttle during cornering, but thankfully this can be manually turned off. Sadly though, unlike a lot of the hot hatches out there that comes with an all-wheel drive setup, this one only comes with a front-wheel drive. But don't let that deceive you, because this is a pretty powerful front-wheel drive version, and back in 2017 when tested on the Nürburgring track, it was the fastest at the time. For curious minds though, this car consumes 8.8 liters over 100 kilometers, and just take note though, this is based on a control setting. It does not take into consideration of things like driving dynamics, environment, or speed. This differs based on the drivers themselves. And speaking of the fuel itself, it has been reported that this model can run on RON 95. But then again, folks, if you can drive a car like this, why would you want to feed it anything less than a RON 97, right? We are now in the inside of the car, and before I let you guys know what the inside has to offer, let's go through the safety specifications of the car. Of course, it comes with your standard 6 airbags. It comes with ABS, EBD with brake assist, and there's also another neat feature. It's called the Vehicle Stability Assist with Agility Handling System. Aside from this, it's got your conventional tire pressuring monitoring system, and it has the full setup for the Honda sensing. The one thing that comes to mind is that racy sport cockpit style dashboard as we see here. Looks very futuristic, and it actually looks quite nice to the touch as well. And it's adorned with the racy red color that goes with the black. The carbon fiber also makes an appearance here. We only saw it with the body kit outside. On the inside, it's on the dashboard itself. Moving over to the screen display, this is actually an LCD screen display, not your conventional analog. The steering wheel is a sports inspired because you see it's all red and black, and it's also leather wrapped. It comes with all the multi-function touches that you can ask for in a car like this. Moving over to the AC system. This is an automatic AC, no need for buttons 1, 2, 3, 4, fully auto. Comes with a touchscreen function. You have 8 speakers that's around the car, that's 1 on each door. The front doors are a little bit special. They get these little mini ones on each side, plus the rear. And moving over down towards the center console, you're going to notice one thing. It's not made out of plastic, guys. It's Alcantara wrapped. So it actually is really smooth to the touch. You have a lot of practicality here. Who says a performance car needs to lack practicality, right? You've got your cup holders, you've got added space in here. And moving over to the top section, you're going to see pure manual gearbox. It's aluminum balls and woo, indeed, short shifts. It's got its functions. The electronic parking brake comes into picture. There's no manual pulls for this. 3 functions on the driving mode. You've got your normal mode, you've got eco mode, and you've got that sport mode. All one push of a button, up or down. And you've also got a brake hold assist that will automatically do the braking hold for you. As we divert our attention towards the door trims themselves, we're going to notice that on the front, the dashboard inspired theme carries over to the side because you still got the little racing stripes here. You've got the carbon fiber strips, and you've got this suede that you've taken out from the center console as well. But guys, this is only for the front door panels. The rear panels are strictly just plastic and fabric, nothing more than that. The seats, now this is something I want to talk about. The seats are actually semi-bucket seats. They're racing seats, and they're made up of at least 3 different materials. You have, of course, the Alcantara itself. It does come with high-grade fabric, and of course, being a racing seat, it's also got the little metal pieces on either end for those racing seat belts. And speaking of the belts, ooh, I love this function. Red seat belt, guys. You always see brown or gray seat belts. Well, here's a red one to indicate just how sporty the Civic Type R really is. All right, now here comes the next most important aspect. How big is the car on the inside? I'll tell you, it is height-wise, it's actually pretty sufficient. I see easily, in fact, I can fit easily about 4 inches worth of headroom. Not an issue. Legroom, I'm actually at its maximum position. I'm actually really far back, and it's comfortable for me. I do not hit the dashboard, nothing of the sort. Headroom is more than enough, so is the legroom. The generous headroom from the front carries over to the back as well, because unlike most cars that slung lower towards the back, this one does not. I still have at least 3 inches worth of headroom. It feels wide, it's big. Legroom wise, if somebody of maybe 160, 170 centimeters in height sits in front, I still have enough legroom without actually hitting the seats, and that's important. But give it someone of my height at the front seat, and if someone of me sit behind that person, we're going to have a bit of a problem. The one thing that I'm not too particularly happy with is the lack of space that I have going in and out of the car. Okay, driving the Civic Type R. Wow, okay. My impression is this is a bloody powerful car. I like it. The manual gearbox is actually really good because the shifters are short. So those of y'all who drive manual, right, you can really appreciate this because we are used to the long stick shifters, which is really delayed. This one, oh, it gives you that sense of sportiness. Okay, now talking about the NVH on this car, right, you have to remember that this is a performance car, so the one thing that you're definitely going to hear is going to be the sound of the engine or the exhaust, or both. In this case, the engine sound is rather muffled, but the exhaust kicks in for that purpose. You cannot help but notice that purr and that roar at the same time from the exhaust. I absolutely love it because this is what we want for performance cars, right? And the acceleration on this car is astounding, I must say. You can really feel that thing surging forward. As we look right now into the ride comfort itself, here's one thing I need to mention, guys. This Civic Type R, even though it's a performance-based car, it does have functions on comfort style of riding, because there are three types of driving style, as I mentioned in the video earlier. You've got comfort, you've got normal, and you've got sport. Now on sport, the suspension is a little stiffer, so it's going to get a little bouncy on uneven roads, uneven edges, and even speed bumps. On comfort, the absorption rate is a lot more better. And of course, on normal, you do get the best of both. Not too bouncy, not too firm. Guys, this car is it's a little different from your everyday rides that we see on the roads. I'm currently using a special mode. It's called R+. The handling is extra sharp on this car. And whoa, I feel that lunch. I'm having fun here, guys. And while all this is happening, right, the seats actually are designed in a way it keeps you rooted to the seat. You don't bounce around like a rag doll. And it actually accentuates the feel, the entire driving feel itself. The experience is out of this world. You don't get this with a lot of other cars, and see what I mean? Oh, man, this car is powerful, no joke. Oh, wow. And this is definitely the experience of a lifetime, guys. You want to know what you're talking about? You gotta come here and do it. Let's talk ringgit now, guys. How much would this car set you back? The price? 688,000 ringgit. That's right, more than twice of the retail price of the normal Civic Type R. And this is expected given the status of the car being the global showpiece unit when this model was launched back in 2017, as well as for all its global international debuts after that. Also, while this may seem to be a pretty high price, it isn't something that is really falling into consideration for those who can afford to buy this car. Things like maintenance, repayment, typically is not a concern. We will go ahead and give you the numbers anyway. All right, let's crunch down some numbers now, guys. Now, if you're taking a loan on this car, a 5-year installment package will set you back roughly about 11,500 ringgit. Going down to 7 years, this goes down to 8,600 ringgit monthly. And for the 9-year package, it goes down to 6,900 ringgit monthly. These estimates provided are based on a per annum interest rate of 2.4%, with you putting in at least a 10% down payment. As a general rule of thumb, it's important that your monthly car installments does not exceed 25% of your overall monthly income. Standard maintenance for this car is surprisingly reasonable. It ranges down from as low as $250 to as high as about 1,200 ringgit. But take note though, being a performance car, there are some parts that will cost more, like the brakes and the suspension. Go with that thought in mind. All right, boiling down to the big question, is this a car you should buy? Well, if you've got the dough and you like your performance racing cars, and also if you like Honda, why not? This is a car that you can actually make a statement towards others. But take note though, if you are an average Joe or Jane, I would strongly discourage you from buying this unless you want to go bankrupt. You see, cars like these, nice to see, nice to hold, not going to be nice to own if you do not have the financial resources to keep this car. And so that wraps up my review on the 2017 Honda Civic Type R. So here comes the other big question. What exactly do I think? On a plus point, I would say the design and practicality are definitely good efforts. On a negative aspect, I am just a little bit sad that they don't have an automatic version to cater to the larger masses, and that also comes with pedal shifters. And on a more practical sense, the entry space on the rear especially could be further improved. Based on all of this, my final rating for this, the grey grade, is going to be at an A-. But this is just my honest opinion. Tell me, what do you guys think about having an automatic in a car like this? Sound off in the comment sections below. As always, my name is Greg. I'm glad to host this up for you, and I will see you all in the next video.